Need parts now? O'ReillyAuto.com offers in-store pickup, same-day home delivery, or next-day home shipping. Get more parts your way at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome to Tunnel Talk, a no facts, all feelings podcast on the Social Suplex Network wrestling podcast. I'm Ann.
And I'm Leah. And you would never guess that was take two.
No, I think it
couldn't have gone better. Spiritually, it was take 4 or 5 at least. Guys, how are you doing tonight? How are you?
I'm feeling incredibly sober, Allie. How are you feeling?
Jeez, not that way. Listen, I already told Ann and Leah, there's a little situation over here. It's not a big deal. Don't get stressed out. Don't be scared. But
when you told us, you did prefaces like, I have to tell you guys something, and Leah got a look on her face like, oh God.
It's like, I can't take any more news recently.
Listen, I've been drinking this week some of the weed seltzers that are legal across this great nation, and they weren't working. Like, they just all week just like hadn't been working. Drink a 10 milligram weed seltzer, be like, I'm sober. So I thought, like, my body has evolved past the ability to respond to weed, I guess. So before this podcast, while I was putting the schedule together, I partook a bit, one of them, and it did work. My body has not evolved. My body now is high. So just operating at a disadvantage tonight, legally. That's okay. Don't worry. Don't be scared. We're going to get through this.
I think it's going to be fine. I mean, like, we'll just, spontaneously bring up, like, a really dense and important topic.
Yeah, one that girls. Really needs all your brain to come at
Girls, no, you hold my life in your hands.
Allie, maybe at some point you can, like, recite, like, the scoreboard for the CONNIE. Like, do you think that's something you might like it to do?
No. You want to talk scenarios? Talk some math scenarios?
I was passing the mic over to Ann now. Our scenarios expert is in the hot seat. Looks like the best CONNIE sports journalist in the biz is on the case.
Wow, thank you so much. My toxic trait is that I like math, so yeah.
I know that about you traits. Once a year. I know that about you. No, I know it sometimes, other times too. Guys, this is our podcast. We're here. Was there anything else I had to say before, or should we just get down to biz? Do we have no news? Maybe check out our merch if you want to.
Allie, why don't we on the spot have you do some patter?
Hey, better, swing, better. That guy. Guys, enough. I think, to be honest with you, enough of this lollygagging. Let's talk graps. It's CONNIE season. You know it. You love it. Let's get into it. Who watched Collision, though?
No.
We
have to get back into habit. I
know, when Dynamite started and they started playing, like, the recap of Collision, CONNIE, I was like, oh, CONNIE was on Collision. There's a whole league over there.
They put CONNIE on Collision. I do think they need to be running, like, ads towards the end of Dynamite. They're like, you might usually skip Collision, but wait.
Are you a CONNIE girl?
Season. Are you a CONNIE girl? You are going to see these matches if you don't watch Collision, the show you usually hate. Collision, you're fine, but you are on Saturdays. So, well, free idea.
There's no Dr. Odyssey until, like, March, so maybe we.
Oh, you think that'll
Collision
turn us into CONNIE girls?
Well, no, I mean, like, since we've got the space in the schedule, you turn that over to the CONNIE.
You know what? You can submit that to the committee and we'll review it at a later. We didn't watch Collision, but we caught up on the promos and we caught up on some of the stuff that happened. So we'll do our best and we'll be better next week. And we try every week to be better than the last. So, okay. So this week on Collision, Will Ospreay beat Juice Robinson in the CONNIE, but Juice is injured. So he's out of the Connie, and another man, maybe Commander, is in.
Did you see he apparently like broke his whole fibula and apparently didn't even look injured in the match?
God.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he broke it. Like nobody knows exactly what spot it was that he broke it in, and nobody can tell. It's like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Which spot in the match? I was like, which spot on his body? And I was like, he and his doctor know. That's enough people, probably.
All the wrestling podcasters are like, we haven't seen an MRI. There's been no x-rays posted to social media.
I'd love a little more of that energy, to be fair, but
yeah.
Okay, so he's out. And then Kyle Fletcher defeated the Beast Mortos, and Danny Garcia and Okada had a time limit draw. Okay, every single man did a promo.
Mm-hmm.
Round of applause.
It's so true.
I mean, I won't actually just through
Ricochet,
myself. But...
Did you hear that? The men who wrestled, they did a promo.
Yeah, is Ricochet still the only slacker then?
He didn't wrestle this week, so he's got a temporary, like, I think he's wrestling on Collisions.
Darby didn't do one, did he?
No. So it's
two slackers, but
Ricochet
Darby, you expect.
Well, he loves the grind, though.
He does love the grind, that's true.
But I think all of our new matches from this week, I think everyone did a promo. Could that be right? I think it's right. So very good job.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of Garcia Okada? Oh, just conceptually. You didn't see it. It
was a great match, Allie. I watched every second of it.
The promos were good, though. I mean, like, there's not really much story, like, yet. So, like, Okada just gave, like, a pretty, like, generic, like, boy, I love to wrestle, and I'm great at it, so don't worry about that.
It was funny because there was a big, like, Okada's, like, the king of tournament wrestling, which is a very funny... It's like, well, it's kind of similar wrestling to other wrestling that happens, right? I mean, I get that you won tournaments, but...
I think it, like, the difference... They seem to, like, talk about it more in Danny's promo, that, like, it's, like, because you have to wrestle so many times in such a short span... You know what I mean? Like, usually in a lot of those tournaments, it's not.
Oh, sure.
Not as often, as long. It's kind of not a sprint.
That makes sense.
Marathon. Did I just do the same thing that Mark Briscoe did?
You did, yeah. I'm looking at this. Okay, I'm looking at this list of men. We got 4 promos. Danny Garcia, Matt Menard was there with him being like, I'm so proud of my son. That was sweet. Did we learn anything about what's going on in his head right now, about who he's going to be going forward?
No, he was mostly just kind of like, well, I'm doing better than last year, so that's cool, which is fine. Like, it's a real medium
very well-adjusted attitude.
Right. Yeah, and Daddy Magic was very like, have you ever seen a more beautiful and most improved boy than this boy? Which is fun also.
I also love
I'm glad you're proud of your honors, son.
I also love them patting each other on the back where they're like, yeah, Danny won the TNT belt, and what did he do? Run right into the Connie. That's right. Absolutely.
Where he had a draw, so we're excited about that.
Yeah. Okay. Okada, fairly generic, not sure what's going on with him. I guess he was a real little rat boy during the match. That's fun. Will Ospreay, and I liked parts of this, and I do just like Will Ospreay, and I like listening to him talk. This was a real hockey promo. This was a real hockey player promo. It was a real, we just got to get back out there, get points on the board. And when you get the points on the board, that's when you've got them. Promo.
I agree. But I also weirdly thought, and this might be 3D chess, that it was like, he was like doing a promo from a guy who's been emotionally devastated and just trying to like keep himself glued together. So his mouth is saying the hockey nonsense, but his eyes are saying, I wish I was dead. I wish I was dead. And
he did look very tired.
Yeah. It was like, low energy. Yeah.
It just felt like the tint had been turned down, and he was like, there should have been a sad violin playing in the background. Like, it was sad.
You've contextualized it effectively for me, because now I'm just juxtaposing him in my head with the wonderful thing about Tigger's Ospreay, and I'm thinking, you're so right. He is depressed, and he could barely get himself out of bed that morning. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd love to see that breakdown continue, though. It's going to have to get a little worse and worse for me every week, please. And then Kyle Fletcher is in heat. He is he had his little promo with Don Callis and cat and heat behavior. He's basically never mind, and don't worry about that.
It's true that there is something like there's something going on with him where he's just like manic, where he's like this is everything I want. I'm getting everything I wanted. Everybody loves it, and I feel great, and I love life. And who could not love life if they're me?
Well, he fought Shelton Benjamin in the Connie on Dynamite this week, and that opened the show. And Kyle came out. Does anybody want to describe his outfit for me? His new outfit?
I don't remember that well what it was, but I just remember the moment where he had like the long pants on, but they were like breakaway pants, like a stripper, and then he broke them away, but very slowly
Kind
while
of
making
a stiff breakaway material of some sort.
While making very intense eye contact with his opponent.
Well, he's
in a real
also
charge
wearing
moment.
now. There's a matching vest, and the vest is covered with like doubloon tassels is how I would describe it, I guess. So that's bringing like a kind of a weird, I don't know, like pirate. Did I say Pirate King about him recently? I feel like I did. Like, no, that was about Mox. Well, I think there's some nautical stuff going on across the board. Anyway, and then the tearaway pants thing. And then he was kind of humping the ropes. And it was like, wow, the lifestyle suits you, I guess.
What powders is Don Callis putting in his food?
Leah, what did you say about Don Callis and Kyle?
That, like, I do want someone at some point to say to Kyle, like, yeah, he did this to Kenny. Like, enjoy. He's about to ruin your life, too.
And oh my gosh, it is giving a little bit when Kenny was in his belt collector era and he was getting so deranged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, the effect
did get very
Don
manic.
Callis has on these men. Interesting, much to consider. So Shelton lost this match with Kyle because Kyle cheated and the ref didn't see. And afterwards, backstage, we had Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, MVP promo together where, what was happening here? MVP was screaming.
Well, because Shelton lost, right? And so he was like, this
lost,
is not what we do. What do we do, Shelton? What do we do? We hurt people. What do we do? We hurt people.
I thought this was great after last week where he like just didn't say anything and MVP was the one talking, where it was like, I think MVP berating him gives a good good context to silent little Shelton Benjamin, so that is a lot of fun.
Yes, it's good to, like, it's interesting to start to get a more of a feeling of like the manager role there. And then I guess Shelton did get so worked up, did you say this, that the poor production assistant was walking by and they just started wailing on him, and then they beat up like 3 production assistants. It's such an unsafe situation back there for these poor PAs.
Don't you think that Dustin Chuck Taylor should sometimes be one of those little production assistants?
God, I want to see
I guess
Shelton
that's
Benjamin throw Chuck Taylor into a wall so bad.
Just jot that down for when he gets back from surgery. Wow. And then there's just the screenshot of Kyle's boobs. They really looked good. Did you guys see that? No, you didn't see it. Okay. All right.
Everybody was looking really good last night. There was a lot of good tits out last night.
Yeah, it was beautiful, Hunk City. Okay, and then also on Dynamite, Claudio and Brody King main evented. Leah, last week on the pod,
I really stuck my neck out. I really said,
stuck your neck out.
I'm standing up for Brody.
You said, I can't listen to Allie bully him anymore.
Brody's allowed to come home with my children after school sometimes. I say things. I bravely said, you know, I think we need to be strong and forgive Brody. And then he kind of did a mid-match with Claudio, so really rewarded me. He said, girls, don't forgive me. Don't. I don't want to hear the disgusting things that you say. Here's nothing.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't embarrass you, but he did you no credit either.
No,
he didn't.
He didn't add
he didn't
to my
earn
argument.
it.
No. I mean, it's hard to, when you have the enjoyment of a big man really ragdolling a small man, and then you're just faced with a big man doing normal wrestling to another big man, it's like, well, what a disappointment.
Yeah, it's hard to get as worked up.
And Claudio's so mild-mannered that it's really hard for me to, like, project any dynamics on his matches other than, like, he's just happy to be there.
I know. When it's funny that so we got promos from both of these guys, and Claudio's, again, he was quoting something. I don't remember why, which I think is a very funny character note, that every time he has to do a promo, he's like, just look at my little book of quotations and I'll find a little something that'll help me communicate a feeling. But he did seem really calm. So I was like, I don't know what's going on with you, really. I don't know why you had the theses stapled all over your garb the other day.
I kind of liked his promo, though. He's still giving that, like, Hallmark hero view. And I do feel like he was talking about how he's, like, he really believes in Mox's vision or whatever.
It cracks me up because he was like, people are like, what did he say? You follow Mox blindly. I don't. I follow him with my eyes wide open or whatever it was he said. And it was like, okay.
He's like, I just really believe in what he's doing. I was like, well, that's kind of interesting.
I guess. Well, I didn't mind it. But then Brody got himself cleaned up he didn't get himself cleaned up after his promo this week. Mm-hmm. So that was good. It was right out of the ring and breathless. But then beyond that, I would say a fairly unremarkable.
Yeah.
So
I agree. We just need to get to the point where, like, people are mad about losing, or they're worried about the direction and the tournament is taking.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or somebody's working on something. Like, no one really has given a promo that's like, here's what's going on with me.
Yeah. And it does just take some time for the storylines to kick in. Although I was feeling a little bit like, well, like last year we had like some really cool people in the tournament, and this year, like, they're fine. I don't object, but, you know, it's like Eddie, Claudio, which one gives me more to work with emotionally, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty clear cut there. Well, I think that we'll give him another week to cook. Yeah. We'll see what they get into in the next week. But I agree. Let's start to bring the temperature up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know. Anything else that we need to talk about here? Brody wore his winter coat to the ring. Has the heat been cut off? Can Tony pay the heating bills?
Is that how Tony has been affording all these WWE guys? Is that he's just like, guys, bundle up?
He spent all his money on like high quality commercial type segments for people, and there's none left for the heat in the arena.
Said, sir, the gas.
He's like, we gotta give Bandito a little.
It is really confusing that some of these segments are being filmed so well now, because two segments in one night where you were like, is this a commercial or is this a promo? The other one being Mox's car ads. He's doing a great job of.
When I see a pickup truck driving beautifully through some kind of desert, I think it's the commercial break. So
okay, let's move on to talk about Mercedes Moné. We had a backstage segment with her where Renee was interviewing her, and what did they say to each other? It was about Camille. It was like, Camille's gone.
I think like on Collision they showed that Camille got beat up backstage, so I think she really got like written off. I think somebody was speculating that she's like gone for good, which is crazy, but wow. I mean, she didn't seem like a nice person like in real life. So
politically, I didn't like what I read, that I now don't remember what I read anymore.
But I don't think we're missing anything. But it is very strange. I love when Mercedes yells at Renee though. She's like, Renee, come on, get it together.
I think they have a really good energy together. She did.
She got yelled at like a lot this week.
Poor Renee did not have a good day at work. If I were her, I would have come home in a pretty foul mood.
And been like, hey, John, can you beat up more people at work?
Got some people to add to the little list there.
Hey, John, I wasn't sure before, but I do believe in your vision. Okay, but I guess she said she was going to keep an eye on a match later on the show. That match was Penelope Ford and Anna Jay. We had a little video package reminding us of their rivalry over the years. I liked it.
I loved that. I really did.
Thought it was sweet and helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really need it for them, honestly, but
Those two I knew.
Yeah, those two I knew. So I thought that was fine. And then Anna won the match, and afterwards she hopped on the mic to call out Mercedes. Mercedes came out with both her belts, and they did a little back and forth posturing in the ring. And Mercedes, Anna Jay was being like, okay, let's fight now, let's fight now. Mercedes acted like she was going to, and like started taking off her, what are they? They're just glasses that aren't glasses?
Like props.
Yeah. Like, yeah, what do you call like the New Year's Eve glasses? You know, like just prop. Yeah, I guess prop glasses.
I was really excited to see Penelope.
Yeah.
It was really fun to see her back.
I miss Penelope. I feel like I haven't seen enough of Anna Jay, although maybe that's just having had a month off.
She was in
I think it's having had the month off. I think she had she was in Stardom, but then I think she had a number of matches while we were gone, all of which I said I should go back and watch that and haven't. So,
while I did get a little bit bummed while we were watching Penelope because I was like, but she needs the bunny and she was tag team married to the bunny. That sucks.
The bunny had such a fun, like, psycho character, too, which Mercedes is kind of tapping into now, which I like. I do feel like something's kind of clicked in for her this week, last week, which is fun, but...
Yeah. That's true. Although nobody could ever scare Ben the way the bunny did.
No, they did not enjoy it. And I was like, wow, I feel like I knew that girl in high school, and that's a very specific girl who is a psycho and terrifying, and I love it.
Oh, yeah. I actually am picturing her right now in a time when she just answered the phone in the middle of class and got into a screaming argument with the teacher. Wow, Cecilia. Okay. Let's talk, because we can't not, about what's happening in the world of Adam Cole. Leah, do you want to debut your? I loved what you called this match.
That every kiss begins with K battle royale.
Beautiful.
Which I entirely missed, and I did say I was gonna watch it, but didn't. Unfortunately, I was like watching the hurt people when all of a sudden I like had one of those moments where I sat up and I was like, there's poop in this room. And so
I like how you say
one
that.
of those classic moments.
It's a very common experience for a pet owner and probably for a parent as well. But yeah, for a regular person, you're kind of like, a what moment?
Pet parents and human parents, you know where I'm at.
Yep.
So I spent the Every Kiss Begins with K battle royale in the bathroom with my very angry cat, and the two of us had our own wrestling match, our own battle royale.
And I know you love when that happens. So fun. So you missed most of this. Well, Anne, do you want to describe how this match started?
Yeah, so kind of we come back, we open, there's many men in the ring. Adam Cole's music hits. We get the full, long Adam Cole entrance. He marches down there in front of everybody's waiting for him.
Unabridged.
He does the baby, boom thing. And then we could start the match. It's like, Adam Cole, this is a little bit self-indulgent, buddy.
It really was. I am not saying this meanly, but I did think to myself, oh, a bridge too far.
Unfortunately, every week we're getting more and more into I'm done with Adam Cole.
I'm done with Adam Cole.
And he's really not doing anything to dig himself out of that.
No, it's like you can't nice guy your way out of this situation where all we keep thinking is, but you're not a nice guy. I mean, I know real Adam Cole is, but my God, this is crazy. So then there's 12 men in there, 11 men standing around watching the boom baby. And then
it's a wedding and he thinks he's the bride coming down, except actually other people also walk down the aisle at weddings. So,
oh yeah, you're right. He didn't even have a maid of honor.
You'd think Kyle would get to be the maid of honor at least. 2 entrances?
I guess Kyle's too mad at him for it right now. Okay.
I just thought Kyle could be the opposing party, the groom. Wait, no, that's not right.
I think I'm now going to think of every singles match with 2 entrances as the bride and groom's entrance.
Well, as the bride and groom's entrances or the prosecution and the defense. I guess this feels right. This feels right.
The
Okay.
prosecution defense. Yeah.
Well, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, who's the prosecution? Who's the defense? I guess I can't quite make it work.
With Adam Cole and Kyle specifically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, look, then the match happened. And there's all these men in the match, and any standouts? Anything you want to say about the men or about the experience of watching that many men all at once? A few too many?
It was a pretty medium battle royale, I would say, but as I was watching, I was like, oh, I've missed watching battle royales because everybody they do a lot of tableaus, where they're like, I'm in the corner and his foot is on me and we're kind of trapped in combat, unmoving for like a full 2 minutes while like things are happening in other places, which I get a big kick out of it. It's like a living Christmas, like the Arrested Development, living Christmas, whatever, diorama.
Oh my God, it really was. Honestly, I kept seeing spots from men who I hadn't realized were in the match and being like, oh, I really like that man. Lance Archer did some really fun stuff. Leo Rush, I hope he's happy here now. He came to us once before and he wasn't happy. And he left. I hope he's having more fun this time because I love watching him wrestle.
I know, he's lots of fun to wrestle. And then I kept being like, who's that handsome man in the middle? And it was Brian Cage. His hair and beard situation, very different, much more pleasant. Loved it.
And I think who's that handsome man really captures the emotional experience of it for me as well. That I kept being like, one of my boys' friends, one of my sweet boy friends. Oh, Brian, it's you.
Brian, you changed so much over the summer. Yeah.
He just looked a little more normal than usual. We got a close up of his body, like after at some point you had been like, "Oh, I'm loving Brian's look tonight." We got a close up of his body, and I thought, "Oh, well, he still does have a few too many of those muscles." But the overall
sounded like
effect,
you meant a few too many bodies, which that's kind of right, yeah.
Brian, that's much too much body for one boy.
It's just bulging.
But his hair is looking better. It's looking good.
It's looking great.
Brian, I can't wait to see you at the school play. Okay. And then, okay, so Kyle and Adam won, and they're going to fight each other, maybe at Winter is Coming, certainly at some event, and then the winner will fight MJF at World's End. Adam and Kyle got into it a little bit in the ring. Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say, when they were the last two left in the middle, I thought, what a shock. What a surprising outcome to this battle royale. Really zagged on me.
I could have seen it coming.
Because I completely missed it. I came back and was like, so who won? And you guys were like, oh, well, Kyle and Adam Cole won. And I like hadn't heard the rules. And I was like, they drew? Like, what are we doing
The prosecution
here?
and the defense?
Mistrial?
It they were not very clear, I think, ahead of time or even in the match that there were going to be like two winners and that it was going to be like a prelim match before the MJF match. I don't know, but whatever.
I think they said it, but I can't say I was paying very much attention. So who can never be sure?
It might have been, sorry, Allie. It might have been an interesting stip if they didn't just do like the you have to fight like 3 men before you can fight me thing, because it just feels like Max's whole thing is coming up with reasons why you can't quite fight him yet.
And, which really should just be he's filming Happy Gilmore 2, a movie that's going to exist for some reason.
I don't think it's a movie that anybody asked for.
It's really the target audience for Happy Gilmore 2 or 1, which I of course enjoyed because I was in high school at the time, is high schoolers, and everyone in high school was born long after Happy Gilmore 1 came out. So like, I don't know what we're doing.
I've never seen it. Is it good?
I don't think
if you're in high school, it is.
Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, it's an Adam Sandler movie from the 90s. You know what it's like.
You know, I managed to avoid watching most of them, to be honest.
Wow. Not Billy Madison, not Happy Gilmore, not, what other ones did he have? Well, those were the heavy hitters.
Click?
Really.
I don't think I've ever seen Click. Probably not from the 90s.
When she comes to stay with you on your way to Krista's, have her do like a Adam Sandler marathon, like kind of like strap her down,
Tie her
and be
down,
like,
yeah.
and be like,
It's
And
time
I
for
don't know
Happy
that
Gilmore.
I don't know that I see that for us.
It's really not the kind
okay,
of, it's like if you missed it at the time, you missed it. There's no going back. It's like
I'm not trying to go. I'm not trying to go back. I'm not trying to go back. Just a pleasant inquiry between friends. Hey, Happy Gilmore. Is it a good flick?
It's fine. It's fine for what it is. I could still probably quote most of it. It's unfortunate.
Most of it.
Well, I don't know. A lot of it probably, if you reminded me of it.
There you go. MJF had a pre-tape. His hair needs quite a bit of attention.
is he turning into Michael Richards in Seinfeld slowly?
I mean, honestly,
yeah.
like, it's really like making me wonder about the technology of like hair plugs. It's like, it's regular hair still, right? It's not made of horsehair. Like, they're not doing a horsehair transplant, right?
I honestly don't. Where are they getting them from? The hair follicles.
I don't know. I have
If
not
you
looked into it, and
told
I'm
me
afraid to ask.
that they were not like there was not hair follicles, it was some kind of fiber that hadn't yet been spun, I would be like, yeah, that tracks.
It's somehow getting drier and worse looking like every week. Like, this was the worst it's ever looked.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, we used to have a lot more curl talk conversations on this podcast, and then at a certain point, the men of wrestling broke us, and we were just like, "What else can you say? You don't know what kind of hair you have on your head." So
it's like, if they don't know what conditioner is at this point, what can we do about it? You know.
But somehow MJF has moved into a space where it's like, I'm at such a high level of concern about it. Like, I just can't stop thinking about it. Like, just go to a salon and they'll just talk you. They'd love to sell you $150 worth of products that with very little effort could improve this situation quite a bit.
Yeah.
Please.
Literally just stop using like 2-in-1 from the grocery store.
Or go back in time and say, no, actually, I don't want the horsehair.
Yeah, rip that horsehair out, man.
My God. Okay. What else is here? Oh, MJF said Adam Cole looked jaundiced. There was a jaundice storyline on Dr. Odyssey this week.
True, there was. It's one of those things that I was like, it's kind of mean because, like, I don't know, like, Adam Cole's already, like, down, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, MJF, we don't need to be hearing that from you. Like, I had a moment, I was like, we can say that, you can't say that, you're part of the problem.
MJF is probably just excited that for once there's someone whose spray tan is worse than his own. It's the first time in his whole life.
Probably the first time ever, yes. Do you have any desire to say anything that you think will happen with MJF, Kyle, and Adam Cole?
They all get shipwrecked, and Kyle eats both of them.
He would.
That'd be a beautiful storyline. That'd be the best storyline they could do.
The end.
Just Kyle smiling.
And he walks
And
off
an
into the
ICC.
sunset with Mark
Yep.
Briscoe.
How did Mark get to the island? Was this a plan the whole time?
He rescues Kyle after Kyle's eaten.
Comes and rescues him.
His
Kyle tell
chickens
him?
help him. Oh my God, he has a team of chickens on a sled.
Yeah, he does. And then they ride off in there with their sled chickens into the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Roll
Forever.
credits. Yep.
And
Oh
that's
my
how
gosh.
wrestling ends.
That's how wrestling ends. Yeah.
And then we're free too. We're all free.
We're all free. We never hear about a rating ever again.
Oh my God. Guys, it's been a rough week for those of us who've many times said, like, when I was into Buffy, I never had to hear this much about ratings. It's been a rough week. Okay. Mariah and Renee had a sit down on Dynamite this week. I seem to have stolen this. Oh, it's just from the site. Mariah insulted Renee and Renee tried to walk away. Mariah said, I think giving a title shot to my best friend is generous. I believe in you, Mina. And then in the background, we had this shot of like someone coming around to this room they were doing the interview in. And it was Mina, and she came in, she strode in, and she shoved a bottle of champagne at Mariah, which Mariah, like, startled, took. And she said, do it to my face. make me work. Because I guess Mariah had also said they just cut lines. Mariah had also said, like, I want to make her work for it or something, where it was like, oh my God, please. I wish you would.
Yeah. What they're doing right now is very good because both of their energy is like electric, where it's like, yeah, they could be fighting or they could be fucking, but they're both super into it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so nice to see Mariah finally get to do another juicy little storyline.
Yeah, I think it's like it's already been quite helpful for like her feeling focused as a character. The match is going to be at next week, right? Like Winter is Coming, I think, on Dynamite, which I was kind of surprised by because I guess I assumed they would build it as a pay-per-view thing, but
I wonder if it'll be one of those ones where there's a fuck finish and then they redo it again
and a rematch.
Yeah,
interesting.
That seems very plausible. I really wish Winter's Coming and World's End didn't both start with a W and were within weeks of each other, because it's just like, why?
I don't have the ability to balance this many names in my head.
Winter is ending.
For me?
Winter in the world ending winter.
Let's get into the meat of this Death Riders stuff, which but I did describe it. I didn't want to describe it because it was hard, but I did do it.
You're so strong and brave.
So strong.
Is this my worst night of podcasting ever? I mean, it's really been pretty bad, right?
Do you want to talk about the gas station for a while? Just to...
I know. I'm so stressed out.
It didn't help that this week didn't have like a lot of stuff for us.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's like we were dealing with cotton candy and you're like you don't have all your tools in your toolbox.
I didn't mean to be this way. It was an accident. Oh my God.
I know. And I'm like really overtired too. And I've had a horrible week at work. So that's not helping anything.
I also had a really bad week at work.
Yeah, neither of you sounded like you were having a good week. My week was medium, but probably next week will be really bad because I didn't do more this week. So we've all got it coming eventually. What was I going to say to you guys just now? I had a little thought. Seems to have gone away again. What were we talking about? It was a long week. There wasn't a lot for us. Oh,
our gas station.
Oh, thank God, our beautiful gas station. I was going to say, what did you think? How much did you like this episode of Dynamite?
I liked it. I thought it went fast.
Yeah, it was medium. I feel like the Connie, when it's just getting started, feels like a lot of grab bag matches, but like I enjoyed it.
Did you like it more or less? You're the optometrist now. Did you like it more or less than the week before?
Probably a little bit more, but it was pretty even.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened last week?
Yeah. I think.
I like the stuff at the end that we're about to talk about. That was good.
I like
what
this
happened?
part.
What happened last week?
What
happened?
Do you think I have the answer ready?
You're the one who I thought your line of questioning was going to be like, and so the fact that you liked this week more than last week says this about you. And I was going to be like, I'm with you. I'm ready. What happened?
No, I don't know. I was just trying to do some like science where people seem to really like this. Okay, I've been stressed out because I'm like, gosh, I love seeing a little conversation about wrestling on this internet of ours. But when I see it, then immediately I'm framing my own experience in the context of what other people said. And it's really hard to know how you feel about something in a vacuum instead of like reactively to conversations that you've seen around you. So I'm having a whole philosophical thing about that today before I'm high. And then so people seemed to really, really like this episode way more than I thought they would. Because an hour in, I was like, well, pretty slow up, not a lot cooking. But people seemed to really like it. And then the week before, I felt like I'd been like, this feels so fun. But then people were like, this episode sucks ass. And so I'm just trying to ground myself in, I don't know, just the world of.
No, I had a slightly similar experience where people did seem to really like this one, and I liked it fine, but it wasn't a huge standout for me. So
yeah, I'm looking.
But also, yeah.
I'm looking at our schedule from last week, and I'd like to take it back. I think I liked last week better.
I thought you were going to say, for some reason, I'm looking at our score sheet. And I was like, oh, God, no, not tonight.
Should we start ranking every episode of Dynamite in some kind of spreadsheet that then we could graph? Would that get us more in line with the IWC and their spreadsheets?
I think it would bring us into conversation with our peers a little more. Yeah. Okay, Leah, so you think last week was better?
Darby and Brody.
Yeah.
Something happened with Mariah. I think more happened with Mariah and Mina.
It was the turn with Mariah and Mina.
Yeah, which was
that
cool.
was exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the turn. And the swerve, there was the swerve thing where
the little setup with
that backstage
Max
thing.
Caster.
Max Caster.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah,
haven't
we had a
gotten
lot
to that
to talk
topic yet.
about.
We did have that this week. The more.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking through our schedule and being like, this was a great schedule. Can we just talk about last week?
What do you think went wrong this week? I mean, nothing went wrong. Hey guys,
I was going to say, Allie, marijuana went wrong.
No, with the wrestling. No. The wrestling is fine. What was I saying? What did I start saying?
You started to say what went wrong this week.
Oh yeah, the marijuana. What went wrong?
The thing is that there's always going to be episodes in a season where it's like, I need you to have these facts, and it's not going to be that interesting for you to receive these facts.
Yeah.
But the rest of the season is going to be better if you're in possession of them, and that's this part of the
CONNIE
cycle
season,
is that we have to build up the wins, we have to build all this stuff in, and then we can start to cook. But it's not like it's that entertaining to get there.
I think I still like this week a little bit better than last week because of the things we're about to talk about. But I didn't think either of them were like the most scintillating I've ever seen.
Mediums.
Yeah.
Okay, well, none of this was meant to be. I don't even know why I took us down this route. I think it was just funny when I was putting this schedule together. I just felt like, what happened? And why was everyone so happy about it? And then I thought, God, why do you care? Why do anybody care what anybody else thinks? What is the point of this exercise in the first place?
I know. I actually did feel like this week I saw a number of discourses where I thought I started to start thinking like, what's my take on this? What do I think? And then I thought, I think I don't care. I think I don't care to have a take. And I really just...
And who told you that was okay?
It was Marcus Aurelius, but it really worked for me. I felt very like I am protecting my peace this week. Like
Good for you.
Yeah. When work is really stressful, it does give you some downstream effects. You're like,
it's true.
Can't care about this right now. So
you really start to really put things in perspective. Because actually sometimes with wrestling, I see something I don't like and I get so mad and then I think, this isn't your job. I can't.
That is my favorite thing to say when I'm reading AEW discourse is, I don't work there.
I don't work there.
Yeah, it sounds rough for people who work there. Not me, though.
And I won't work for free in the discourse economy, grind in the mills of discourse.
Yeah.
You can pay me, or I walk.
We just work for free in the podcast, right?
Yeah, but then if in the podcast minds, as long as you're not at the discourse mill, you can always say like, wow, this isn't a good episode because I accidentally got high. They can't do anything about that. There's nothing they can do to us girls.
Until
they
later
can't
when
take
you
our
get
livelihood
fired.
away.
When Mr. Apple contacts you and says, Allie, that was shit.
Oh God, I would be like, well, where have you been for 4 years?
My dad the other week, he was like, Ann, how do you get a podcast on the radio? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he was like, a podcast, how do you get it on the radio or on TV? And I was like, well, if a podcast is on the radio, it's just a radio show, Dad. And he was like, no, but a podcast, how do you get it? And I was like, well, if you want to get a podcast, there's no barrier to entry at all. You just upload it. And he was like, you upload it? And I was like, I don't think we can have this conversation. I don't know what you have read that led to this question, but a radio show's on the radio and the radio station decides to put it on. So does that answer your question?
I vaguely think that the way to get a podcast on the radio is to be paid by Sirius XM or something.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
think
sound
that's-
right?
I think that's right. It's like,
Yeah.
Dad, did you read an article about Joe Rogan? Like, what happened here?
For some reason, I just went down a little rabbit hole where I was like, should we try to get on Sirius XM? Should we make like a little tape, like a highlight reel of our
Send
best
it into
moments of the
Sirius
podcast?
XM, yeah. And like a podcast on TV, it's like, do you mean YouTube? Like you can just upload that as well. I don't understand the question.
Did you tell him that you're on YouTube?
Oh, I didn't. I should have though. I
Be like,
forgot
"Hey,
we were on YouTube. to
Dad."
be honest with you.
My podcast is on YouTube. It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's
So, but Ann, when are you going to get on radio?
yeah, gotta get on that old radio.
Look, I'm sorry for whatever I did that caused all of that to happen. I'm sure it was me. Hey, let's get down to business because we talked about some stuff that didn't thrill us too much, but let's get thrilled. Hangman fought Yuta on Collision. Hangman currently has a bum knee that he's been playing up for quite a while now. At some point, I assume that's going to come to a head. Yuta tried to take advantage of the knee, but then he got pile drivered instead, and Hangman threatened to chair him because he was trying to like coax Mox into the ring, but none of the other Death Riders came in to save Yuta.
They all just sat there very stone-faced, like, yeah, we see what you're doing, and go for
Yeah,
it.
Take him, have fun. Just
They're
another
like,
day in
jokes
the
on you.
basement
He
for
likes
us.
that shit.
Like, we almost did that to him ourselves the other week. It's totally fine.
I loved commentary. He said, this is what the Death Riders did to Chuck Taylor. And I was like, yeah, he got it from his mother. He got it from his mama. Where he learned it. Jay White came out and Blade Runner'd Yuta. Oh, God. Oh, that's the end of that. The rest of this happens on Dynamite. Okay, that's the end of the Collision part. And then Hangman had a promo with Christopher Daniels where Christopher Daniels was the 99th old man at AEW this year to give someone a rousing "this isn't you" speech. And Hangman screamed, "It sure as fucking is me. Don't ever tell me who I am." And I was like, that's very in character. That's good. He never
He knows what he's about.
knows what he's
And
about.
he yelled that he didn't need advice from some old man, which I appreciated him hanging a little lampshade on the old man
Yes.
advice epidemic that's been going on.
I'd love to see a little backstage meeting at some point addressing the old man issues.
I want it to be like Daniel Garcia, Jack Perry, and like Private Party are like standing at the front of a room full of wrestlers going, "Mind your business. Leave us alone."
Okay. So then this week on Dynamite, Jay White fought Pac in a match that was not a part of the Continental Classic. Now, for some of you, that may go without saying. It wasn't in the Continental Classic, so there's no need to bring the Continental Classic up.
Perhaps maybe you started watching this match and you thought to yourself, non-Connie match. And then you retained that over and over. As you watched this one single match that wasn't even that long, you just kept thinking to yourself, yeah, it's not a Connie match. Well, we're built different.
What?
We're such Connie girls that every match we watch, we're like, it's a Connie match, it's Connie season.
I legitimately 3 times was like, why is the ref letting you to be there?
It was like being stuck in a water current, and you keep being like, God, I get in the ocean here, and then I always get out 10 miles down the beach. And it's like, that's what it was like to try to retain that this wasn't a Connie match. Leah says in our group chat, oh my God, I'm so silly. I just thought it was a Connie match, but it's not a Connie match. 10 minutes later, I'm sitting there being like, God, but why is Yuta allowed to be there? And where does this leave him in the Connie standings? We can't retain it. During this stupid, I tried to make him fight Claudio. I tried to write about the points again. It wasn't a Continental Classic match.
But it sure
Therefore-
felt like one. It sure felt like it was kind of just, two men pulled out of a hat without a lot of personality kind of facing off in a sports framework.
I just think that during Connie season, there just shouldn't be matches that aren't about the Connie. To me,
It's
I
true. It's
I
like
think that's fair.
there's like 6 Connie matches over the weekend that we didn't see because you didn't remind us that Connie girls should tune into Collision. Why didn't you put those on Dynamite instead?
there's like
Yeah.
3 of them on Rampage. We have to watch Rampage.
They're
this
on
week.
Rampage. I forgot
Yeah.
that was a show.
Well, it
They
won't be
shouldn't
for
put
long.
Connie matches on lame duck shows.
This is your finest beef, your finest cut of beef, whatever one that is. That's really good. That's the one that is. Put them on the main stage for that reason. You know what I mean?
I think we should at least alternate our blue and gold matches between shows, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Don't put all the who was I think it was Eddie's league last year that got stuck on Collision.
Mhm,
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
We're gonna end up watching so much fucking wrestling just to see the one fucking segment a year that we're really into.
Sometimes I remember, like, I'll be like, God, it's like he wants me to watch 5 hours of wrestling a week, and then I'm like, he does. But I don't want to. It's not even like you have to catch my attention and it's like, but it's available. It's like I'm trying to withhold my attention from Tony Khan, and he's like, I've simply got to get your numbers for my Nielsen's. I need your eyes
For
on
my
the product.
Nielsen's.
The only gift I want for Christmas this year is your number in my Nielsen. Jay White fought Pac. It was not a Continental Classic match.
Bears repeating, because we could have forgotten in the time that we've been talking here.
We'll have to remind ourselves periodically. Okay, so Yuta was on the sidelines. He could be there because it wasn't a Connie match. And he's trying to interfere and distract, etc. But Jay White manages to win. And Yuta tries to attack Jay White, but Jay takes him out. And then it's the clown car. Marina's coming out. She maybe has a briefcase, if I had to guess. Mox is hiding, and Marina's distracting from him. And then Mox reveals himself. Hangman comes out because he got a scent of Mox.
Wasn't it like Marina came out and like she and Jay White squared off, and everybody was like, is this finally the time that men will be allowed to do violence to women? And like, I think Jay White even started to reach for her, and that's when fucking Mox came out of nowhere and was like, no intergender.
Charlie Brown football. And then OC was disguised as a cameraman, so he wasn't on last week.
That got me. Usually the
It really got
cameraman,
me.
usually by the time that like they start to move, you're like, oh, I know that shape. But for some reason, despite spending a lot of my time looking at Orange Cassidy's body, I was like, who is it though? Who is it?
Yeah, they did a really good job with it. I think I wasn't expecting OC to get like re-involved with Mox in any way, so this was like such an exciting follow-up. I was thinking too that like if you were in the arena, it must have been even more exciting because like when I see a camera guy getting awkwardly in the frame, I've watched enough now to be like, that's no cameraman. But if you were in the arena and like less aware of where the camera was, I feel like you would have just seen like a backstage guy suddenly attack Mox, which is fun.
He's good at those angles. Okay, so then
all in black too.
I know,
good,
looking cute, looking mad. So he strangled Mox, I think.
Yeah, with the camera
cord,
wire
yes.
thing. Yeah.
And then so is it Mox is in the ring and they do all the moves on him?
They were kind of going up the ramp.
They were going up
so
the
OC
ramp.
was attacking Mox, and then they got in the
but
ring.
at the end, they all ended up in the ring, and then Jay White did his move, and then Orange Cassidy did his move first. This is not good radio. Jesus God.
Luckily, we're not a podcast on the radio, so
It's so true. Unless we send that letter to SiriusXM pretty promptly. Look, Super Orange Punch, Jay White, Blade Runner, Buckshot Lariat.
Yeah. You did such a good job. You did a really good job.
This is one of my more embarrassing nights. Christian Cage was lurking by the bad boy hole with his dented briefcase. I couldn't find a handle on it. It just looked like
he always kind of holds it like a
very precious
cradle to himself.
Contract holder. Yeah. And then so Mox left, and why did he leave? They can't have done the moves all on him. It's probably on Yuta.
They were doing them on all the Death Riders, I think.
Yeah. Okay, everyone got it.
I'm trying to like go to my mind palace and remember, and I remember them all doing their sexy, cool moves, but the men they did it on, it's blank. Don't know.
It must have been Yuta. Who else could receive so much damage? It wouldn't be
Pac
Mox.
was out there.
Could have been
I think
Pat.
they did a lot
You're
to
right.
Pat.
And you were there. And you were there.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to do a notes app apology. All right.
Oh my God, that is how we should tweet this episode. Will you write us a notes app apology and we'll tweet it with the episode?
I will. Okay. Oh, Leah, you want to talk about what commentary was saying about Yuta?
Oh, at one point they were like, it's like a spell has been cast on Yuta, and he can't break free. And I was like, that's an interesting thing to say, because if Yuta ends up turning on Mox and like he's part of the thing that brings down Mox, that would be very sexy. I would like that a lot.
Yeah.
See it.
And they are really still playing up, the Yuta being treated badly by the Death Riders and not being quite on board or whatever, that he's having weird stuff going on with him, which is fun.
No, they've definitely kept it on a low simmer and to a pretty good degree. So yeah, I'm quite interested in that.
Yeah. And I like the end here where OC and Jay White and Hangman were all in the ring, kind of looking at each other, but being very wary, where it was like, we don't like each other, but we're all kind of on the same side, but I don't trust you guys at all. Like, I thought that was a fun dynamic between the three of them.
Now, are all of them... No, OC has personal reasons now for wanting revenge. Jay White wants the belt. Hangman has said wants the belt.
Yeah, and Jay White kind of wants to get in Hangman's way a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that seems right-ish. Interesting. Well, I'm interested to see them flesh out some of these desires and dynamics a little more before I feel the need to have a take.
Yeah. I was excited to see OC getting this kind of follow-up because I feel like people have been, upset about, like, people losing matches and whatever, but I feel like this is like a good turn, and OC's character seems to be like moving, which I like the shifting, and hopefully it's going somewhere. But it seems. I
hope where it's going is that he does a promo and he cries.
That's the dream, yeah. Obviously,
would love to see some tears.
Of course, that's my dream for every member of the roster, male member of the roster, anyway.
Yeah, women you can cry too, but.
Only if you feel like it, though.
Only if you feel like it. Only if you want to. Men, get out there regardless.
Put your bras
on. Let's just check in really quickly on the Christian stuff. So there was Hook had an in-ring promo this week where he was like, you wanted to fight me a couple weeks ago, but they didn't, I guess. Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne, I heard what you said this past weekend. You want me to fight in a couple weeks in New York City. I've got a better idea. I'd rather fight your long pause, quote unquote, father. I understand it's what we say every week, but when you say it in the ring, it just sounds weird. It made me a little nervous. That's all I'll say. And leave him in worse condition than you left my father in. Nick, come fight me right now. Patriarchy comes out. We have a whole melee in the ring. Mother Wayne is distracting Hook. Kip Sabian is prancing around, looking so cute. It's just crazy. This little gay mage look is so out of this world for me. Yeah. I literally, in the middle of him jumping around doing something, I thought, God, should he be in the D&D movie sequel? They've got to get one. And I know they could find a role for him. Some kind of hunked out little elf.
I think he would do really well in it too, and I think he'd be eating that scenery so quick.
He'd be so good at it.
Do you remember on that show, the other one, when he gets a role on Windweaver and he's like the little elf with no lines, but then it turns out his character is the Windweaver and he's a huge star? That's what I'm picturing for Kip.
I want that for Kip so bad. I think he's ready for it. This is his moment. Okay. And then Nick Wayne smashed Hook's wrist over and over again with the steel chair. Daddy Magic on commentary is saying that hand has got to be broken. I felt like a little baby because I was like, well, that either means it is really hurt or it's not.
So true.
One of those things must be true. One of our listeners pointed out that this Hook and Christian stuff has not been playing out over the past few weeks of our absence. And
Incredible.
I believe we have no explanation for what perverse desires led Kip Sabian to kneel at Christian's feet and beg to be his boy.
It was just something that Tony did for us. He
He's just like,
it was
save
for
it
us.
for the girls. Save it for them.
Well, I think that while we were gone, they had an in-ring segment that, like, the setup had seemed to be like, I'll say what I have to say to you, Kipathy, and to you as well, other man, Hook,
Tyler.
I'll say all in the ring. But then it seems like maybe he didn't say anything in the ring.
Seems like it.
I'd like to know what was going on with Kip. Why did he steal the pen so many times?
And like, are they still doing No Nut November or whatever they're doing?
Were they doing that?
That was our bit, right? That Kip won't be able to.
Oh my God, right.
Won't be allowed to.
And I really was like, wow, they said that on the show. No, certainly one of our comedy bits. Yes.
You know, there are little japeries we do around these parts.
I think it was heavily implied on the show, but you know, yeah,
Certainly,
they didn't come
yeah.
out and say it.
I would like to know the last time Kip was allowed to relieve himself.
Okay, that I didn't like that. Don't
that's
say
not the
that
phrase.
anymore. I didn't like
That's not
that.
the phrase.
I don't put my foot down often, but anymore.
Anymore.
She used to put it down all the time, and now she's one of the worst instigators.
I know it.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you for your honesty, at least there. So we just don't know. Okay, well, we don't know. Anyway, something's going on here. That's it. Swerve and Max Caster had a match scheduled for this night of Dynamite. We get a backstage segment with Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and Billy Gunn ahead of time. Max Caster is he's so cocky and sure of himself. And Anthony Bowens actually was he stressed out? Well, he was some way. And
He was doing a lot of self-talk about how he was the best wrestler alive, like to pump himself up, kind of. Yeah. Unclear whether it was out of cockiness or anxiety or both.
yeah, probably a combination. Billy Gunn jumped in to be like, you are the best in the world. So go out there and show it. Anthony Bowens made a face like he certainly is not. And I don't want to be hearing that right now. And so a little discord among the men. I personally enjoyed this segment. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think all of this with Swerve has been a great use of Max Caster and his repulsive personality. Because it's like, this was clearly like, this guy is out of touch with reality. He's insane. He's not pleasant to be around. He's annoying everyone around him. Perfect.
And I sort of feel like Max Caster needs to be like taken out and beat up every now and then. If otherwise, like if he just does too many backstage segments, he gets weird. Like it's like if you keep a little kid like cooped up too long, it's like they're gonna write on the wall with like crayon. So you got to take him out. So yeah, I think
you gotta
Swerve
have him
kicking his ass is probably good for him.
Yeah.
He has what I have referred to before as a self-inflating beach ball personality, where it's really important for someone to sit on him pretty regularly or else he'll get too big and pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, this whole thing where Swerve came out like so mad. He's had all these losses. He's very worked up. He was ready to punch Max Caster for making smirky faces at him backstage. And then he basically squashes him. Surprising, delightful. I feel like this should be happening all the time with non-jobbers. Like, I felt like it was great for Max Caster's personality. I thought it was great for Swerve coming out of like all the losses he's had lately where it's like, oh, he's like really worked up and he's really like taking it out in the ring. Just really good character work from everybody. Shocking.
I agree. I thought it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
Beautiful to watch. Just
And
really,
of course, it helps that they're two of the most beautiful
very
men on the
handsome
roster.
men.
Yeah.
Very
Good
handsome and
bodies.
beautiful men.
Very good bodies. There was one moment where like both of them were just heaving at each other, and I was like, "Well, it's good to be alive."
Maybe it is okay here on this bitch of an earth.
This world does have some good things in it. So,
yeah,
and it was so refreshing too, just to see somebody like people take a loss, but like use it in their characters, and like I feel like in sports you do have like you get kind of revved up and you could beat somebody that you wouldn't necessarily beat on a different day or in a different mood, and like top guys should be willing to take some losses and put them into their stories.
I agree. I think that's one of the things that I like often get frustrated about in wrestling is feeling like there are a lot of conversations that will kind of imply like if somebody is this good, then they should always win over people who are less good. And it's like, well, that's not life. You can win over somebody who is better than you in one specific instance. Like, and it's interesting to think about, oh, well, why were they able to do that then?
Yeah.
Not that Swerve is much better than Max Caster.
Well, yeah, right, clearly. But it's like, on other days, he probably wouldn't have squashed him so hard. Like, it would have been a little bit more of a match. Yeah, exactly.
If any of you have been out there yelling, like, I can't believe that you're comparing these men's abilities. We're not. It's just general. You took the specific instance, but then we applied it more generally. So don't yell at me, please, God.
Yeah. And I think a lot of these guys, they think they shouldn't lose because they're so big and tough and they want people to like them for being so big and tough. And it's like, that's not actually what makes people like you. People like you when you're a little bit sad and relatable. It's like, Hangman and Eddie, you're pretty popular.
Let's bring back
to think about
those pathetic men. We haven't seen as many pathetic men at all recently. And what's happened? The numbers have dropped.
Yeah.
Line has gone down. Oh, Mr. Nielsen, where are you taking all those numbers? Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have the requisite amount of pathetic men on your show for this many numbers.
So true.
So make him cry. Hey, Tony, look at me.
Yeah.
Tony, look at me.
Just try some crying. See where the numbers go. I think you'll find there could be some positives there for you.
Let's go fly a kite up to the highest height.
Do you think any of the men in the CONNIE will do like the deranged patheticness that Jay White was up to last year?
I'm worried, no. Because let me look at this list. Shelton Benjamin
probably not going to cry.
Might murder MVP. Won't. But could. Kyle Fletcher, too happy to cry. I think he's only... he has to lose to Ospreay again in this. Or I mean, he won over Ospreay, so Ospreay's got to get the win back in this, right? Maybe not. If he does,
he's
Kyle
so manic. He's not gonna.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I would love to see Ospreay. I would love to see Ospreay have a losing streak that he has like conniptions about. A, because it would make my wrestling like interesting, and B, because I think Dave Meltzer might fucking lose his mind.
He's not going to be well.
I do feel like with Ospreay's like demeanor this week, I think with a push he could get to a crying place.
What I would like to see is for him to win, beat Kyle, have some big matches where he wins, and cry after one of those. Just when like the vibe is like, Mr. Ospreay, you must be so happy, and he's covering his eye, being like, go away, and he's sobbing.
That's a great emotional dynamic, and it would make Dave Meltzer so confused because he doesn't understand having a good thing happen and then it makes you cry, but some of us do.
No.
He would find like the idea that Dave would get everything he wants, which is Will Ospreay winning on TV every week, but also have to contend with Will Ospreay crying about it. Like, I feel like he'd be like, this is the only thing I want to talk about, but what am I saying? I don't know.
He's like, and then he wasn't looking at the camera, and but he won the match. He's like, doesn't even want to get into that. He's like, oh God, who knows what he's doing? That's not for me to know. He won the match. I would love that. I would really, really, really like to see good things happen to Ospreay, and he sobs about it.
Yeah.
Please, just for me. The Beast Mortos will not be crying. Very beautiful man.
And Danny Garcia was troublingly emotionally stable this week, which I did not care for.
I mean, he's done enough, like, sad boy in the dumps.
He basically cried last year.
Yeah, it won't be as effective.
True.
Ricochet could pull something out. if he wanted to.
I'd love it if Ricochet cried. That would help.
I don't know what would make him cry.
No,
he
seems
hasn't
pretty chipper.
revealed anything to me yet that would make me understand what could cause him to cry. But if he starts cutting promos where he's like, everybody's so mad at me and I don't know.
All the internet does is yell at me and say that I'm washed.
I'm worried that I'm washed. I'm really worried.
Another thing that I've been on a philosophical journey about this week, while I hold you guys captive on our podcast, is that this isn't really, it's like not, so like everyone's mad at Ricochet, right? Because they're like, he's not doing his good high flyer matches. He's doing these other matches that we don't like. And I don't have that much of an opinion about it. And he hasn't been telling a story. So I do have my own grievances with Ricochet, but I keep accidentally like really being on his side and being like, nobody understands that when you're an artist, you want to try and do different types of art to prove that you're good. And people will be like, do this one type of art that you know how to do. That's what we like from you. And you're good at that. And we want to see it. And they think that that makes you as the artist feel like fulfilled, but actually no one can really feel fulfilled. So as an artist, you're just like, oh, so I can just only do one thing. Maybe I want to be able to do other things. And I keep being like, maybe he wants to be able to do other things. What is his primary duty? Is it to you or to himself? And some would say to you, the viewer, because he's a paid employee. And I don't know. It is a balance. Do you guys ever think about this?
No, I do. Well, I do, honestly, because I think about that with Hangman sometimes, where like people want him to do things, or even Kenny. Like people want Kenny to do like certain kinds of matches, and it's like, okay, well, that like let Kenny do what Kenny wants to do. Sometimes you have to let him.
Or Okada too. It's like if the man wants to be a goof, by God, let him have some goofs. You know.
It's true. And it's like, I guess nobody's obligated to enjoy the art you make because you're trying to be true to yourself or because you have a knee injury, who knows. But nobody's obligated to enjoy it, but like, do they have a right to tell you can't make it? Kind of no. But again, you are a paid employee, so you're trying to sell tickets and put butts in seats. But I don't know. Sometimes people just think like, if an artist can do something, they'll be so happy to do it. And it's like, that's a person with personality disorders, just like the rest of us. Okay. They're chasing some feeling of satisfaction in their life that they don't know how to achieve, just like you. Keep that in mind next time you say, do a flip. You know? Well, is there anything else to talk about? Or was that kind of it?
I think we did it.
Got through it.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you think this went? Like 3? 1?
It definitely hit lows.
It had some lows.
Some lows. Do you think you can fix those in post?
Good luck,
I'll do what I
Ann.
can. Yeah, I'll do what I can.
I'm gonna just come back and do a pickup for the whole episode, maybe.
Just a pickup, just kind of re-record.
What if we let Ann post it with all of the like no cuts? So all of the cuts.
I'll be like, I fixed it, you guys, and then there's just like a long pause, and then Alice says, "Cut all of that. That was terrible."
Oh my gosh! See, it's even well. Anyway, okay.
It's fine. People can't dictate to us as artists. We wanted to try something new.
We made the art we wanted to make. We have personality disorders.
I have to be completely honest with you guys. I wanted to make different art than this. I wanted this art to be better. I wanted it to be pretty much the usual.
That sometimes I do have that feeling when people are critical of Tony Khan, which of course I am also very critical of Tony Khan, but sometimes it's like, well, I don't think he's doing bad art on purpose. I think he's dealing with a lot of stuff and he's trying to do good art, and sometimes you just fail, and sometimes
guys,
we just have to allow people to fail. And when you're on a weekly schedule, it's rigorous.
We've said it many times before. Even in a standard old school 22 episode season of TV, half of them are duds.
Yeah.
Most TV's bad.
And they can rewrite those TV episodes. And this one, you're writing a story, and halfway through, your guy refuses to lose, or he hurts his damn knee or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Guys, would you forgive Tony Khan for like a couple of his crimes if he came out at the end of a pretty bad Dynamite and was like, "I'm so sorry. The weed seltzer was so much stronger than I was expecting it to be.
I thought I was immune. And I'm not immune, you guys. I'm really high right now.
I wanted to make different art. But this happened.
And it's too late. The show's over now, so it is what it is.
It would be a real humanizing moment. I think I would be moved, and I would say, God, who among us? Who among us has not been there? Let's just throw on Time Cop and forget it ever happened. Can I say one last thing?
Yeah.
Chris Jericho's new Shania Twain looks.
You've been saying some pretty concerning things.
It has been a little concerning.
I believe last night you might have said, "Is this Chris Jericho's sexiest look yet?" Or something like that.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. And even to a group of Chris Jericho enthusiasts as we are.
We all just kind of politely stepped around that too.
Something about his hair under those cowboy hats is just like, it's giving Barbie movie. It's giving.
And I think you said that in my screen. I was like trying to get in the bath. I was so tired. I was trying to like get ready for bed. And then my TNT feed went black. And then you were like, this is Chris Jericho's sexiest look. And I was like, oh, what it is? And I had to refresh it. And then it came up and I was like, huh.
What it is indeed.
His new bit where he fucks up cities' nicknames was really getting to me. I was enjoying that a lot. Where he was just, I love it here in the Beantown. Babe. And he finished and he was like, well, have a great time in the Big Easy.
So simple, so classic.
So classic.
Thank you,
so
Chris
funny.
Jericho.
He's a funny.
Thank you for all you do, and thank you for your beauty and your hats. On that note, I've been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
It is Tunnel Talk, I'm afraid. Our theme is by Chris Corkin. You can find us on Twitter, Tumblr, Twitch at Tunnel Talk Pod, via email, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. We have merch now. We've had it for a little minute. We have it. You can find it at chop-tees.com. We have a little something new coming soon, so we'll keep you updated about that. You can find us on the Social Suplex Network feed, where you can check out all the other great podcasts on the network. And you probably should this week. I definitely wouldn't rely only on us this week. I would say that.
Unfortunately, I think One Nation Radio was off because Rich was sick.
God,
so
that's right.
Oh yeah.
Go listen to
It's not
Keeping It
Trish
Strong
and Sarah
style.
week.
Yeah,
Right.
keeping it. We gotta message Jeremy and be like, you guys have to do such a good show.
Do a really good job this week, please, because
this
situation. Or Trish and Sarah aren't on this week.
No, they are. So they'll be out Tuesday
this coming
too.
week. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
This past week.
Yeah.
Hey, go learn about art. Go learn about WWE. We've got lots of other great options. Don't rely only on this podcast this week. Come on, join us down on the Social Suplex Network Discord. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Stay frosty, please. And as always, please come back next week.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like going to work on one Thursday morning and thinking to yourself, just one more day until Friday. But then somebody in the elevator says, Happy Friday! Then you check your phone quickly and discover today is actually Friday. So yes, Happy Friday, random stranger in the elevator. Happy Friday indeed. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.